Hello everybody and welcome to our last Python tutorial exercise here. We are on our last one, number 10. And in the last problem, we see that we are introduced with our first data structure. Okay. Now up until this point, we've seen different data types. We've seen our string data type. We've seen our integer data type, which is our whole number. We've seen our float data type, right, which is our decimal numbers. But this is the first time where we're introduced with our first data structure. And we're going to talk about what that is. Okay. So first, let's review what we have. You see that we have our print method, and we're passing in our sort names function that we're going to create. And we're passing in one parameter, right? One piece of data, which is our names variable. Okay. Now, if we look at line 1, we see our names variable is getting assigned our first data structure, which is a list. Okay. Now, a list, if I take out the data, right now this is just an empty list. Okay, so names right now is getting assigned an empty list, and the way we fill our list is by putting some data in. And notice that each piece of data is separated by a comma. Okay. This is very important because we're able to access this data in our names variable by their index. And recall when we did our string slicing, our strings also start at index 0. So same thing with our list here. John can be found at index 0, Kenny can be found at index 1, Bob at 4, and Dylan at 5, for a total of 5 items or elements in our list. Okay, and we're going to hear that term a lot. We're going to hear, well, there's 5 items in our list, or there's 5 elements in our list. Okay. So we have a variable names, and we assigned it this list of data, right? And one thing to point out here is that our list, we want our list to contain the same data type. So you see this list is a list of strings. Okay, we never want to do this. We never want to have numbers and strings in the same list. Okay, we always want to keep things separate. Okay. So if I comment this out for a second and I show you how we can access our data, we use our print method and I call names at index 3, we can guess what the output is going to be here. We know names is our list, right? It contains our list. And we have a list here indexed from 0 to 4. So if we want to access our names at index 3, we know that if we compile, we're going to get Bob as our value. Okay. And if I did John at index 0, we're going to get John. Okay. And if I do names at index 4, you see we're going to get Dylan, which is the last one. Now, remember, Python also has negative indexing. So we could also do -1, and we're always going to get back the last item in our list. You see we got back Dylan. Okay. So we have our list, and we're able to access the data in our list by its index. Okay, and I just want to show you what this looks like in memory. Here we just have an array already filled with some data, right? This case is numbers. And we can access this data by its index. Okay, so this is what a list looks like in memory. It's a continuous block. Inside each block, we have data in each block, and we can access the data by its index. Okay. So the same thing we have here, except now with our names, we just have strings in our list. Okay. So now taking a look at the question, we have to create a function called sort names that takes in a parameter. So we can call this list, that's the name. And it returns this list sorted in alphabetical order. Okay. We're going to return this list in alphabetical order. Okay. So what we could do, we know what our problem is. We need to identify our list, right, names, and we need to return this list sorted in ascending order. Okay. Recall that methods, right, or functions are already predefined to help us with our problem. Okay. And we see this hint that says every array comes with default functions that allow sorting. Okay, right here. So we know our problem is we want to sort a list of strings. Okay. So all we have to do is we can just use our return keyword, and we could use our sorted method, and we can pass in our list that we want to sort. Okay. So our sorted method is one of those predefined functions that we have access to, that given a list of strings will return an alphabetical ordered list. So if we compile, we see that it's already sorted in alphabetical order, and when we run our test cases, we see that everything is passed. Okay. So let's say you didn't know about this function. What you could do is you can Google Python method to sort in ascending order, and you see that our sorted function pops up, and that's exactly what we used here. We defined a function called sort names that accepts one parameter, and we just returned that list with our sorted method applied to it. Okay, and we see what it did. It returned to us our list in alphabetical order. Okay, so if you don't know what methods are out there, a good way is just to Google based on the problem you have identified that you need to solve. Okay, so in this case, we know we wanted to sort our strings, and that's exactly what we Googled, and we got back our method. Good. So that wraps it up for this question, and I'll see you in the next tutorial exercise.